B&B spoilers, Bill's shocking proposal to Katie after Hope and Liam's wedding. The bold and the beautiful spoilers and updates indicate that Bill Spencer's Don Diamont marriage proposal will take Katie Logan, Heather Tom, by surprise. She'll be blindsided. A twist is set to unfold during Hope Logan's, Annika Noel, and Liam Spencer's, Scott Clifton, wedding ceremony, so let's delve into what lies ahead. A recent promo shows Liam and Hope's wedding, followed by Bill's proposal to Katie. B&B has recently launched an exciting promotion that showcases the wedding of Liam and Hope, but it's the final part of the video that truly takes everyone by surprise. After a day filled with spectacular moments, Bill suggests that there's just one more thing that could make the event even more special, and he drops to one knee in front of Katie. It seems that Bill is indeed gearing up to propose to Katie once the wedding festivities wrap up, so Katie should prepare herself for this unexpected twist coming on Friday, December 12th. Bill might just ask Katie to marry him as part of this week's thrilling cliffhanger, leaving fans on the edge of their seats, eagerly anticipating her reaction. Although Katie and Bill haven't reignited their romance for a long time, she certainly appears to be joyful and completely invested in their renewed relationship. There's an excellent chance that Katie will say yes. There is a significant chance that Katie will say yes to Bill's proposal and soon don his ring. Bill was absolutely thrilled when Katie consented to come back together and return to the Spencer mansion. This development will undoubtedly elevate their reunion in Bill's perspective, so let's keep our fingers crossed that he realizes his dream of engagement. Katie and Bill may soon have some thrilling news to announce to Liam, Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, and all their fans as a couple. Bill wants Katie to be his partner in everything. Naturally, Bill desires Katie to be his partner in everything, which is why it's logical for him to want her to be his wife once more. This could also simplify Katie's decision to return to Spencer Publications. The more commitments Katie makes to Bill, the closer they will grow and the happier they will become. Bill will be thrilled if Katie agrees to come back to Spencer and they have a beautiful wedding of their own in the near future. The bold and the beautiful spoilers indicate that Katie and Bill may soon celebrate a significant milestone in their relationship, so we'll keep you posted on what lies ahead. The air was still thick with the scent of lilies and the lingering warmth of 1,000 well wishes. Hope Logan, radiant in a gown that shimmered like spun moonlight, leaned into her husband, Liam Spencer. They were finally, truly, unequivocally married, again. This time, it felt different. It felt final. The reception at the Spencer Mansion, a place that had seen as much tragedy as triumph, was a beacon of light, a promise of a future where Lope would finally get their well-deserved happy ending. The toasts had been tearful and genuine. Brooke, ecstatic, had championed her daughter and son-in-law. Deacon, humbled and proud, raised a glass to the man who had proven himself worthy of his hope. Even Steffi, happily settled with Finn, offered a sincere, if slightly bittersweet, acknowledgement of their enduring love. It was a perfect storm of soap opera happiness. And then, there was Bill. Dollar Bill Spencer, the self-proclaimed man of steel, had been unusually quiet, a predator stalking the edges of the joy. He watched his son and new daughter-in-law, a small, knowing smile playing on his lips, a smile that didn't quite reach his intense, glittering eyes. But it wasn't Liam he was focused on, it was Katie. Katie Logan, ever the compassionate soul, stood near him, her own smile reserved but warm. She was Bill's rock, the mother of his son, Will, and the one woman who, despite all his betrayals, still held a piece of his volatile heart. They had recently reunited, a cautious, tentative step back into the familiar, for the sake of their family. Everyone was rooting for Beatty, hoping that Bill's recent humbling experiences had finally forged him into the man Katie deserved. They thought this day was about Hope and Liam. They were all terribly, tragically wrong. The calm before the storm, the private moment. As the party began to wind down, the clinking of champagne flutes giving way to hushed goodbyes, Bill steered Katie away from the main gathering. He led her onto the terrace overlooking the illuminated Los Angeles skyline, a view that had witnessed countless clandestine deals and broken promises. "It was a beautiful wedding, Bill," Katie said softly, pulling her shawl tighter against the crisp night air. "Liam and Hope, they really deserve this. A real start." Bill turned, his shadow large against the ambient light from the ballroom. He didn't speak of Liam and Hope. Instead, his voice, usually a booming declaration, dropped to a low, intense murmur that sent a shiver down Katie's spine. "A real start," Bill echoed, taking her hands in his. His grip was firm, possessive. "That's what I want, Katie. Not just for them. For us." Katie's breath hitched. She looked at him, searching his face, trying to decipher the unreadable man before her. "We have a real start, Bill. We're back together. We're raising Will. We're a family again." "No. We're a compromise," Bill corrected, his intensity ratcheting up. "We're a see how it goes scenario. And I'm done with compromises, Katie. I'm done with half measures. Fire the shocking proposal, not a fairy tale, but a power move. Fire." He let go of her hands, and Katie watched, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs, as Bill Spencer, the dollar bill, the man who owned half of the city, did the unthinkable. He dropped to one knee. It wasn't a romantic gesture. It was an audacious, unexpected power move that cut through the joyful atmosphere like a knife. The ring box he produced wasn't the classic Beatty diamond. It was a new, massive, emerald-cut stone that looked less like a token of love and more like a captured piece of the Spencer wealth. "Katie Logan," Bill's voice boomed, despite his kneeling position, its echo carrying faintly across the terrace. "Liam just married his destiny. And I'm done watching the world move forward without staking my own claim." Katie's eyes widened in disbelief, then narrowed with a flicker of old pain. "Bill, what are you doing? Now? After their wedding?" "Exactly," he countered, a triumphant, almost desperate look in his eyes. "I'm striking while the iron is hot. I'm cementing our future when everyone is still intoxicated by family happiness. This isn't about happiness, Bill, it's about timing. It's too much, too fast. You haven't changed that much, have you? It's always a spectacle, a big play." Katie's voice was laced with a deep, crushing disappointment. Bill stood up, looming over her. "I have changed, Katie. I've been to the brink. I lost everything, and you were the only one who stood by me. The only one whose opinion I still value. But I need more than your presence. I need your commitment. Right here, right now. I need to know that what Liam has tonight, I can have too." He held out the ring, the massive stone catching the city lights. "Marry me, Katie. Not next week, not next month. Tonight. I have a justice of the peace waiting at the office. We can be husband and wife before the sun rises." The ring, the massive stone catching the city lights. "Marry me, Katie. Not next week, not next month. Tonight. I have a justice of the peace waiting at the office. We can be husband and wife before the sun rises. We can shock the world and prove that we are the ultimate power couple of this family." Coldface, the very sad news, a foundation built on sand. Coldface. This was the tragedy, the very sad news that viewers had been dreading. Bill's proposal was not an expression of selfless, enduring love, it was a reflection of his own towering ego, a desperate attempt to steal the spotlight from his own son and to make his relationship with Katie a public, inescapable event. It wasn't about Katie's heart, it was about Dollar Bill's image. Katie saw the truth of it, a cold, hard knot forming in her stomach that was far worse than the betrayal of an old affair. This was the same Bill, always needing to be bigger, bolder, and more dramatic than everyone else. He wasn't building a future with her, he was building a trophy. Tears welled up in her eyes, not of joy, but of profound sadness. She had hoped, truly hoped, that their reunion was built on the quiet, genuine love they shared for Will and for each other, away from the Forrester-Spencer drama. But here, on the night her nephew and niece-in-law had finally found peace, Bill was injecting chaos. I can't, Bill, Katie whispered, the words tearing from her throat. She stepped back, shaking her head. "I can't. Not like this. Not on the back of someone else's happiness. Not as a shocking proposal to overshadow the wedding. I thought you finally understood what commitment means, but this, Bill, this is just another headline for Spencer Publications. The colossal diamond glittered unheeded. Bill's face, for a brief, shattering second, crumpled into a look of genuine pain, instantly masked by a ferocious, icy anger. "You're saying no?" he growled, the image of the invincible tycoon restored. "I'm saying," Katie corrected, her voice now steady, imbued with Logan strength, "that I'm not a plot twist, Bill. And until you realize that, our reconciliation is over. It's a very sad thing, but you are still just a man who wants to win, not a man who wants a wife." She turned and walked away, leaving Bill Spencer alone with the rejected ring, the lights of Los Angeles now just a harsh, glittering reminder of everything he had just managed to lose. The fairy tale ending of Hope and Liam's wedding night had been irrevocably stained by the sad, shocking truth that for Bill Spencer, the drama would always come first. The world of daytime drama thrives on seismic shifts, heart-wrenching betrayals, and the relentless pull of destiny. Yet, few recent moments have delivered such a potent cocktail of joy and immediate, crushing sorrow as the one-minute promo clip that dropped yesterday, setting fan forums ablaze and social media streams awash in digital tears. This particular sneak peek into the future of the bold and the beautiful didn't just tease, it delivered a gut punch of emotional whiplash, confirming one highly anticipated union only to immediately pivot to a revelation that promised to shatter one of the show's most enduring, yet tumultuous, relationships. The calm before the storm, Liam and Hope's dream wedding. For the legions of Lope fans, those dedicated viewers who have ridden the dizzying, decade-long roller coaster of Liam Spencer and Hope Logan's love story, the opening seconds of the promo were a moment of pure, unadulterated triumph. After countless near misses, manipulative exes, mistaken identities, and the ever-present shadow of Thomas Forrester, the clip confirmed what many had dreamed of: Liam and Hope are finally tying the knot. The scene is breathtaking. It's an intimate, sun-drenched affair, likely in the lush, familiar setting of the Forrester Garden or the Malibu beach house. Hope, radiant and ethereal in a gown that whispers high-fashion simplicity, holds Liam's hands. Liam, ever the sincere and slightly overwhelmed groom, stares into her eyes with the kind of intense devotion that has been his defining characteristic. "I choose you, Hope. Today, tomorrow, and forever," Liam's voiceover echoes, thick with emotion. Hope's reciprocal vow is equally moving, focusing on their journey, their family, and the hard-won peace they've finally found. The camera lingers on the exchange of rings, simple, elegant bands that symbolize their commitment to finally prioritize each other over the external chaos. A soft, acoustic version of a romantic ballad swells. Brooke Logan, Hope's mother, wipes a proud tear. Even Ridge Forrester manages a small, genuine smile. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a victory for true love, a moment of canonical closure that allowed fans to breathe a collective sigh of relief. It confirmed that the central heroine of the show, after enduring so much heartbreak, was finally getting her happily ever after with the man she has always called her soulmate. For about 30 seconds, the fandom was bathed in a golden glow of satisfaction. Broken heart, the lightning strike, the shocking aftermath. Broken heart. Then, the music changes. The gentle ballad is abruptly replaced by a jarring, ominous orchestral sting. The lighting shifts instantly from the warm hues of the wedding to the cool, sharp contrast of a modern, upscale restaurant, likely Il Giardino, a familiar backdrop for both celebration and clandestine plotting. The shift is immediate and disorienting, signaling to the viewer that the fairy tale is over. The new focus is on an entirely different couple, or rather, a potential couple that sends a clear, powerful message: happiness is a fleeting commodity in this universe. The scene is Bill Spencer, the media mogul, the complicated patriarch, the man who has spent the last few months struggling with the fallout of his emotional entanglements. And across the table from him is Katie Logan, the resilient, good-hearted sister of Brooke and Hope, and the mother of Bill's son, Will. This is where the promo transitions from a joyful celebration to today's very sad news. Bill, looking unusually vulnerable and stripped of his usual bravado, is holding a small, velvet box. The camera focuses intensely on Katie's face, a complex tapestry of surprise, deep contemplation, and undeniable sadness. She knows what is coming. The viewers know what is coming. But the anticipation, fueled by months of speculation about Bill's current relationship status, is still crushing. Katie, Bill's voice is low, strained, and filled with a rare, naked desperation. We have history. We have a son. We have a love that no matter how many times we try to walk away from, it just pulls us back. He slides the box across the table. It opens to reveal a substantial, dazzling diamond, the Spencer Sparkle, as it's often called. Marry me, Katie. Let's do it right this time. Let's finish the story we started years ago, he implores. The implications, a triple heartbreak. The final shot of the promo is not Katie's answer, but an expertly edited, triple split-screen montage designed to maximize the emotional fallout. Katie's face, her expression is one of agonizing conflict. She loves Bill, yes. But she is also the woman he has betrayed, multiple times, most notably with her own sister, Brooke. Her hesitation speaks volumes. Can I ever truly trust this man again? Liam and Hope's kiss, a flashback to the wedding, emphasizing the incredibly short window of joy before the next major crisis looms. Desperate plea, his hand reaching across the table, underscoring the weight of the moment. The sad news here is multi-layered and devastates three distinct fan bases. 1. The death of Beatty, as we know it. For the long-suffering fans of Beatty, this proposal doesn't feel like a win, it feels like forced narrative closure. Katie's pained expression suggests that accepting this proposal means swallowing years of legitimate pain and mistrust. It robs her of the hard-won independence she has finally achieved. If she says yes, the immediate, overwhelming fear is that Bill will inevitably hurt her again, making their brief reconciliation a tragic prelude to a greater fall. The very sad news is the probable, cyclical heartbreak awaiting Katie. 2. The crushing of Still. The most immediate and heartbreaking tragedy is what this means for Bill's recent relationship with Steffy Forrester. The most recent storyline had seen Bill and Steffy share several complex, intense moments. There was genuine chemistry and a compelling narrative thread suggesting Bill's heart had moved on to Steffy. The promo clip, by showing Bill proposing to Katie now, effectively throws Steffy under the bus. It suggests that his intense feelings for her were merely a temporary distraction, a rebound, or worse, a manipulative tactic to get Katie's attention. Steffy fans are already reeling from the implied betrayal. This move confirms Bill is retreating to his comfort zone, leaving Steffy blindsided and deeply hurt, transforming a complex romantic relationship into a cheap plot device. Steffy, once again, is the collateral damage. 3. The threat to Lope's bliss. Finally, and perhaps most subtly, this proposal threatens the very foundation of Liam and Hope's wedding joy. Bill, in his current state, is not a stable presence. His decision to retreat to Katie is born of turmoil. The Spencer family, Bill, Liam, and Wyatt, are intrinsically linked. A fractured, unhappy, or unstable Bill invariably drags his sons into his vortex. The very sad news is that Liam and Hope's honeymoon phase will be cut abruptly short by the drama emanating from Bill and Katie's re-engagement. Their hard-won peace is already at risk. The verdict, a masterpiece of emotional manipulation. This promo is a storytelling marvel, a one-minute journey from the pinnacle of joy to the precipice of despair. The creative team has expertly used the emotional payoff of the Lope wedding to amplify the shocking nature of Bill's proposal, creating maximum engagement through maximum emotional distress. Today's sad news isn't the act of the proposal itself, but the terrible timing and the crushing implications for Steffy and Katie's emotional well-being. The fleeting happiness of the Lope wedding has been poisoned by the immediate realization that a new, complicated, and potentially devastating story arc is about to unfold. The show has left us with a cliffhanger that cuts deep. Will Katie accept Bill's diamond-encrusted olive branch, condemning herself to a probable cycle of pain? And how will Steffy react when she learns the man who was just pledging his devotion to her has already retreated into the arms of her aunt? The rings of fate have been exchanged, but the metal is hot, and the future is anything but golden. The saga continues, and the tears, both happy and sad, are only just beginning to flow. The headline, splattered across the screen of the coffee shop's shared tablet, was a masterpiece of emotional terrorism. Today's very sad news of the ellipsis hung there, a pregnant silence demanding attention. But what truly froze Alex's blood, right there in the aroma of burnt espresso and cinnamon, was the second half, the part he himself had written in the hopeful chaos of his mind for 3 weeks. There's an excellent chance that Katie will say yes. It was a headline not meant for public consumption. It was the internal logline for the single biggest moment of his life, accidentally synced to the wrong cloud drive and now, somehow, impossibly, broadcast to the world. Alex didn't move. He was poised on the verge of the grand proposal. The ring, an heirloom sapphire that mirrored Katie's eyes, was nestled in a small, velvet box in his jacket pocket, a warm, reassuring weight against his ribs. The plan was meticulous: a walk through the botanical gardens at sunset, a small, handwritten poem, and the question. The answer, based on years of quiet understanding and shared dreams, was expected to be a triumphant, definite yes. An excellent chance, as his anxious brain had conservatively noted. But now, this. His phone buzzed, a flurry of texts. Mom, Alex. What is this article? What sad news? Are you okay? Liam, best man, unofficial proposal security dude. Dude. Change your cloud password. Now. Also, what is the sad news? Katie's sister, Sarah, Alex, what have you done? Katie just saw it. She's asking what's happening. Call me. Alex finally lunged, snatching the tablet. The article was a sensationalist mess, a clickbait masterpiece built on the bare-bones metadata of his private file. The sad news was left tantalizingly blank, replaced by a generic stock photo of a weeping woman. The text was pure conjecture. A source close to a prominent local figure, identified only by the first name Alex, reveals a planned proposal to a woman named Katie is now overshadowed by a tragic, unnamed event. Will the tragedy derail the excellent chance of a yes? He slammed his hand on the table, instantly silencing the pre-lunch crowd. His proposal day was ruined. His heart, which had been a kettle drum of hope all morning, now felt like a block of ice. Broken heart, the shadow of the headline. Alex and Katie's life had been built on finding light in the small, quiet corners of a world that often felt too loud and too dark. They had met volunteering at a children's grief center. Katie, a hospice nurse, possessed a profound understanding of loss. Alex, a graphic designer, channeled his own family history of anxiety into creating serene, beautiful things. They were the opposite of the sensationalist headline. They were grounded, real, and deliberately low-key. The thought that their moment, the moment, was now framed by an anonymous, fabricated disaster was an agony of misplaced drama. He rushed out of the coffee shop, ignoring Sarah's frantic call, dialing Katie instead. She answered on the third ring. Her voice was flat, devoid of its usual musical lilt. Alex. Did you see that thing? Katie, listen to me. I'm so sorry. It's an accident. My draft folder. It's not real. There is no sad news. There's no. The sad news is that everyone knows, she cut him off, her voice thick. My entire feed is asking me about the sad news and the excellent chance. Alex, I don't care about the news, but the excellent chance? Did you think I needed that kind of public pressure to say yes? Did you need a headline to feel confident? Her words were the real sad news. It wasn't the fabricated tragedy of the internet, it was the sudden, raw vulnerability of the woman he loved, exposed and hurt by his own carelessness. He had reduced the beautiful, profound certainty of their relationship to a journalistic odds calculation. Katie, no. Never. That was just my own stupid brain, trying to be funny in a private note. It was my way of. I need to go, she whispered. I'm sorry. I can't. Not today. Not with everyone watching. Went dead. The sapphire in his pocket felt like a lead weight. The excellent chance had just plummeted to zero. The proposal day was over. Broken heart, the real sad news. Alex sat on a park bench, the city noise swirling around him, the small, velvet box clutched in his hand. The sad news wasn't a tragedy, it was a failure of communication, a failure of trust. He had spent months curating a moment, and in one careless electronic slip, he had invalidated the entire premise of their shared life, that their love was private, sacred, and entirely their own. He scrolled through the comments on the clickbait article. They were a maelstrom of theories: lost dog? Financial ruin? Terminal diagnosis? The collective thirst for sensational sadness was overwhelming. He called Liam, his best friend and business partner. "It's off." She saw the headline. She thought I needed a public poll to propose. Liam was silent for a moment. "Okay. Look, the internet is one thing, but Katie is, she's Katie. She doesn't live in a headline, Alex. She lives in the spaces between. You have to go to her." But she said she needed to go. She hung up. She needed a minute. "You have 4 hours until sunset, which was your original plan. You don't get to run from this. You made the mistake public, now you have to make the apology personal." Liam's words cut through the panic. Alex stood up. The original plan, the gardens, the poem, was tainted. He needed to find a new setting, one that spoke directly to their shared, private history, one that was the antithesis of the screaming, anonymous internet. He knew where she would be. He drove across town, to the old, brick building that housed the Children's Grief Center where they first met. It was closed on Saturdays, but he had a key. Dove the anti-headline. The center was quiet, smelling faintly of old crayons and disinfectant. He found her in the library, a small room with beanbag chairs and shelves stocked with books on loss and healing. She was sitting in the corner, holding a worn copy of The Velveteen Rabbit. "I knew you'd be here," he said softly, closing the door behind him. She didn't look up. This is where things are real. No excellent chances. No sad news. Just the space where we learned what was real. Alex walked over and sat on the floor beside her, resting his back against the bookshelf. He didn't speak right away. He just took a deep breath of the familiar, comforting air. "That headline was my deepest fear, materialized," he began, his voice barely a whisper. "Not the sad news part. The other part. Excellent chance. I've spent my entire life overanalyzing, calculating, and hedging bets. I never let myself believe in anything that wasn't statistically probable." He reached into his pocket and placed the velvet box, unopened, on the floor between them. It was a physical barrier, a symbol of the distance the headline had created. That phrase, "excellent chance," wasn't for you, Katie. It was for me. It was a lie I told myself so that if you said no, I could say, well, the probability was only excellent, not certain. It was my parachute. It was my tiny, pathetic, analytical safeguard against the most terrifying, beautiful, and important thing I've ever felt. He leaned closer, his voice cracking with a sincerity he hadn't allowed himself to feel all day. "The real sad news, Katie," he confessed, "is that for 3 weeks, while I was planning a perfect, curated moment, I was denying the single greatest truth of my life: there is no chance. There is only certainty." He finally looked at her. Her eyes, the color of the sapphire, were glistening, but not with sadness. "I don't need a guarantee, Katie. I don't need an audience. I don't need a perfect moment. I need you. I need the messy, quiet, real life we build together, starting right here, in this room, where we learned what love actually means, not happiness, but resilience." He picked up the box. He didn't get down on one knee. He simply held the ring between his thumb and forefinger, presenting it not as a grand gesture, but as a shared truth. "The sad news is that I was a fool who almost ruined everything. The truth is, I don't know what tomorrow holds, not for us, not for the world. But I know this, I want to face the sad news with you, whatever it is. I want to celebrate the wins, whatever they are. I want to wake up with you, every day, until there are no more days. Ring the uncalculated yes. Katie reached out and gently took his hand. She didn't look at the ring, she looked only at him. When I saw that article, she said, her voice softer now, stronger, I thought, he's turning our life into a spectacle. And I hated it. I hated the implication that our love was anything less than a profound, quiet sanctuary. But what you just said, that was the real truth. She closed her hand around the ring, closing the box inside his palm. She leaned forward and pressed her forehead against his. The world outside, with its screaming headlines and its need for drama, vanished. I don't want an excellent chance, Alex. I want a terrifying certainty. A terrifying, beautiful, yes. She pulled back, her eyes shining with absolute conviction, and she opened her hand. The sapphire caught the dim, library light. I will say yes in this room, not in the gardens. I will say yes to the man who can admit his fear. I will say yes to the person who knows that life is full of sad news, and that love is the only thing that makes it bearable. A genuine, irrepressible smile broke across Alex's face. He knew then that the panic of the morning, the accidental broadcast, was merely the dramatic friction their story needed. It had stripped away the artifice of the perfect proposal and left them with a moment that was profoundly, beautifully flawed, real. He slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. So, Katie, he said, holding her hand, is that a yes? That is a yes, Alex. And if you ever put that phrase, excellent chance, in a headline again, I will change the Wi-Fi password for the rest of our excellent, certain lives. Alex laughed, a sound that felt like relief and joy bubbling up from a deep, long-hidden well. The headline was wrong. There was no sad news that overshadowed their love. The sad news was simply the context of human existence, and the excellent chance had always been a ridiculous understatement. The true headline was the one he would write later, a private message sent only to her.